Welcome to our first COVID-19 Niagara update on your TV. You're used to The Source bringing you coverage of local events across the region. Today we change focus with The Source concentrating solely on the COVID-19 situation in Niagara. From our Niagara Falls studio, we'll check in with government officials, community leaders, and everyday citizens, all of whom are dealing with the impact of the virus. Please stay tuned. Right away, before March break, announcing that schools across the province would be closed for the 2 weeks following March break. That must have been, well, it was definitely an unprecedented decision, an unprecedented time for the DSBN. How did that decision make you feel, and what was the process from that point?
You're absolutely right, Mike. It was unprecedented in terms of the history of the DSBN, and from speaking with educators like yourself, unprecedented for anyone's career, really, in my time as a student. However, it meant a bit of a scramble to make sure we got that information out to parents and staff as quickly as possible, because it really only gave families 1 day to plan for the 2 extra weeks that schools would be closed. So lots of contingencies to think about. However, we really feel the ministry did the right thing by closing schools for the extra 2 weeks after the March break. It's really important measure to create that social distancing to keep everyone healthy that we're hearing about, social distancing for flattening the curve.
It definitely was the right decision, I believe, wholeheartedly, because when you look at the size of many of the schools, those large gatherings were going to be forced.
Right, and they're saying now, you shouldn't be at a gathering that's any larger than 50 people, and I think that number is getting down even from there. So if you think about, school assemblies every week, how many students will be gathered in an auditorium or a gymnasium, that's well above 50 people in close proximity. So we want to do what we can to keep our social distance and keep members in our community who are vulnerable safe.
I know that we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We have that 2-week shutdown following the March break, amounting to 3 weeks that the schools will be closed. But is there any thought of what happens after those extra 2 weeks? Does the DSBN limit assemblies? Does it limit gatherings? Does it limit special events moving forward?
Well, that's a great question and a really important question. I think we would defer to any recommendation that public health provided us with. So we will have plans upon opening again on April 6th as they pertain to those things that you pointed out. So things like assemblies and clubs and meetings. Do we want to continue to keep that social distance? So again, we would be working with public health to find out more about that when we open up again, April 6th.
Today, the provincial government announced that it was canceling all EQAO testing for the remainder of the year. Now, we know that there was some controversy about that with the labor strife as well, but I'm assuming that part of the reason for that announcement today was because of COVID-19.
Right. So the ministry's announcement was they're canceling all standardized assessments, so EQAO. And for high school students, one of the requirements of graduation is that they write the OSSLT. So that requirement has been waived. So for students who didn't have an opportunity to write it this year because of labor action, they will not be required to write it. They'll still be able to graduate. So I think a lot of parents and students are quite relieved because they were wondering how they were going to prepare and get the assessment written in time for June.
One last question for you, Kim. Is there any chance that the school year might be extended into July because of the 2-week shutdown or further shutdown that might happen?
Well, at this point, school boards are in regular conversation with the Ministry of Education, and they're really looking at the impacts of this closure, what it will have on the year. So far, an extension of the school year has not been discussed. Their focus really has been on a continuation of learning. So the ministry is planning on launching a website that will consist of curriculum activities for each grade level. So students can engage with learning even though they are off for the 2 weeks. And we're expecting that to be launched very soon. So parents should look for information on our website and on social media. As soon as they launch it, we'll have it prepared for them.
Thank you very much for your time today, Kim. It's a pleasure to speak with you. And
Thank
good
you
luck.
so much.
Good luck on the reopening on April 6th. Kim Yielding from the District School Board of Niagara.